Good morning, St. Kitts and Nevis, and welcome to Voices right here on Win FM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Let me say thank you so much for joining the conversation. You can also follow this program via our social media platforms at WINNMedia SKN. Check out our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, or our Twitter account. And of course, visit www.winmediaskn.com for the latest in what's happening here in St. Kitts and Nevis, across the Caribbean region, and of course internationally. This is Voices for Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023. I'm Devon Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining the program. The phone lines are open, and we're taking your calls at 466-0989 or 662-0989. That's 466-0989 or 662-0989. It is just about 9 minutes past the 11 o'clock hour. We want to hear from you, the good listeners of 98.9. I want to share with you in local news, the Nevis Agriculture Department promises large quantity of grade A quality products at Agri Expo 2023. So the agriculture is one of the leading sectors in St. Kitts and Nevis supplying products for domestic and foreign markets. This opportunity becomes even more accessible for residents when the products are brought outdoors to their avail. This year is the inaugural hosting of the Agri Expo, an improved version of what is commonly called the Agriculture Open Day on the island of Nevis. Now, Brandon Frederick, the estate manager at the Department of Agriculture, said that the field and greenhouse workers are working diligently to deliver a large quantity of grade A quality crops. Additional crop availability includes tomatoes, cabbage, sweet peppers, and celery. Frederick said about 2,000 pounds of tomatoes, 300 cabbage, 300 celery, and 5,000 sweet peppers should be ready just in time for Agri Expo 2023. Meanwhile, Gary Griffin, manager at the Abattoir Division, said that a meat aging room was recently installed at the abattoir. Meat aging is a process by which a carcass is hung in a room under a certain temperature for about 3 weeks or 21 days to be tenderized. Griffith said the first trial at the meat aging room was a beef carcass, which has since been cut into various forms, including top round, bottom round, eye round, ribs, T-bone steak, chuck steak, and rib eye. The products, Griffith said, will be sold for the first time at the Agri Expo, thus paving the way for sale to the general public thereafter. Agri Expo will be hosted at the El Quemido T. Willett Park on March 30th to the 31st. Under the patronage of Colin Huggins, the theme for the event is Together for Food Sovereignty, Agri Expo 2023. So I am extending a special invitation to all of you on the island of St. Kitts to travel over to Nevis on the 30th and 31st of this month, March, to attend Agri Expo 2023 and receive a wide variety, grade A quality crops there on the island of Nevis. All of this goes down on March 30th and 31st, 2023. It's an all-day event. They have great entertainment lined up as well. And so I'm encouraging you to take advantage of this opportunity. I think you won't regret it. You definitely won't regret it, and this is not something that you want to miss. So that is March 30th and 31st, 2023, Agri Expo. It is more of or it is expected to be an upscaled version of Agriculture Open Day. So an upscaled version of Agriculture Open Day, grade A quality crops, a wide variety of meat. Yes, encouraging you guys to take advantage of it. This is Voices for Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Again, thank you so much for joining the conversation. I want to go on the topic of the installation of a new ombudsman here in St. Kitts. Recently, the government, via their information platform, the St. Kitts Nevis Information Service, announced that an ombudsman has been installed. Let me just share the details for those of you who may have missed that announcement. The ombudsman is Bishop, I think is Williams, but I don't want to be mistaken, so let me go and get the correct name. I don't want to get your feedback on the appointment of the ombudsman. So it says here that acting ombudsman installed as part of government's good governance transformation. The Governor General, Her Excellency Dame Marcella Liber Jeppy, after consultation with the Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition, has designated Reverend Bishop Cyprian Williams to act as ombudsman. Bishop Williams will operate initially as of March 20th, 2023, from the Integrity Commission's office on the second floor of the Delil Walwyn building here in St. Kitts. The government considers the presence of an ombudsman as an important element of its good governance transformation, the statement said here. A quote from the Prime Minister says the government has committed to the people of our federation that we will govern with transparency and accountability. The installation of an acting ombudsman is another key element of our good governance transformation. Our people have not had the ability to seek assistance from an ombudsman for 6 years since 2017, and we have moved swiftly to reintroduce this important democratic institution. End quote. The ombudsman is empowered by statute to investigate any administrative action of any administrative action. Sorry, let me read it again. The ombudsman is empowered by statute to investigate any administrative action of a government authority for the purpose of deciding whether there is evidence of maladministration on the part of the authority and to make recommendations pursuant to an investigation to the authority concerning any administrative action that formed the subject of the investigation, and generally about ways of improving its administrative practices and procedures. Bishop Williams expressed his pleasure to begin acting as ombudsman and stated that he is, quote, committed to serving our people in a professional, independent manner. I am charged with investigating actions or decisions taken by or on behalf of any government authority in the exercise of its administrative functions, any failure to make a decision or to do an act, including a failure to provide reasons for a decision, any recommendation, and any action taken before a recommendation or a failure to make a recommendation. I will take this role seriously, end quote. Now, maladministration means inefficient, bad, or improper administration and includes unreasonable delay in dealing with the subject matter of an investigation. I'll repeat that for the sake of the listeners, the benefit of the listeners. Maladministration means inefficient, bad, or improper administration and includes unreasonable delay in dealing with the subject matter of an investigation, abuse of any power, or administrative action that is contrary to law, unfair, oppressive, or discriminatory, based on procedures that are unfair, oppressive, or discriminatory, based wholly or partly on a mistake of law or fact or irrelevant grounds, or related to the application of arbitrary or unreasonable procedures or negligence. Bishop Williams has undertaken to lead an education campaign throughout St. Kitts and Nevis to bring awareness to the general public about the functions and role of an ombudsman. So for those of you who are not familiar with the roles and functions of an ombudsman, Bishop Williams has given his commitment to lead an education campaign about what the role and functions of an ombudsman are. The government has also expressed its interest in proposing amendments to the Ombudsman Act to strengthen the Ombudsman's office. For quite some time, we have not had an ombudsman here in St. Kitts, and essentially, the ombudsman is there to investigate maladministration. You know, there is an investigation taking place. And so you have a case where the administration or a government is saying, hey, I am going to investigate this allegation or of bribery or corruption or what have you. And there is an unreasonable delay. So you heard about the investigation. You heard about the investigation starting, let's say, 2 years ago. And 2 years later, no update whatsoever from the relevant authority. The police, whoever, have not provided an update. From my understanding of this, the ombudsman's task is to investigate why. And so the first, if I am to be in, or if I have that, I can't even find the word, but if the ombudsman is to say, what case do you think should be recommended for review? I would say the hush puppy case, because it's been more than 3 years, maybe more than 3 years. More than 3 years. We heard about the start of the investigation. We kept getting updates that are not updates. The investigation is ongoing. That's all we heard. The investigation is ongoing. And so if the ombudsman is to look into something, it has to be one of the investigations that I believe the public would appreciate is the investigation of the hush puppy matter. That was a big scandal, and let's not pretend or act as though it was not. It was a big scandal. It was all over, not just local news here in St. Kitts and Nevis, across the region, internationally, and for whatever reason, it just apparently went out the side door or went out the back door, or it probably jumped out the window and nobody ever saw or heard it again. And there's so many other things, so many other investigations that have, and I'm putting it in quotes, launched or have been launched. And we hear about it for about 3 months, as I said, 9 days. And you hear nothing else again. A disgrace and a slap in the face of people. You know, you're coming to tell us you're going to investigate something when you know you have no intention whatsoever of investigating anything, because it maybe would implicate somebody who's close to you. And you know, one would say that they can understand, because the issue we have here in St. Kitts and Nevis is because we are such a small state, a small country. Most of the times when these investigations are ongoing, boy, when you get to a certain point in the investigation, you realize that, boy, this thing gonna inflict my cousin, you know. this thing gonna bring me auntie, best friend, one of my best friend them into disrepute, and they might face jail time or have to pay back an X amount of money that they allegedly stole or whatever or something like that. And so I believe, that is one of the reasons why investigations don't really take place. They take place on paper. They come and waste your time and tell you why we're going to investigate this thing, yeah? And they know they ain't going to investigate nothing. We want to hear from you, the callers. So let's head to the phone lines and we'll take our first call for this morning. All right, we seem to have lost that caller. The phone lines are open and we're taking your calls right here on Win FM 98.9. Call us at 466-0989 or 662-0989. We are on the topic of the installation of an ombudsman. Your take and your view, opinion on this installation, and what does this mean for good governance here in St. Kitts and Nevis? I remember when I was in high school in social studies class, I learned about an ombudsman, and I always thought that it was rather interesting. I like the role of an ombudsman. It is one of the ways to stamp out, as we said here, maladministration and corruption. And so I'm hoping that the ombudsman's office, or the office of the ombudsman, would be given the necessary support. And as it's said here, the government has expressed interest in proposing amendments to the Ombudsman Act. I did not even know. I must admit that there was an Ombudsman Act. I did not know that. I honestly did not know that, and it's good to know. So they are proposing amendments to the Ombudsman Act to strengthen the Ombudsman's office. And so I'm really hoping that the Ombudsman's office can be given the adequate and necessary support to carry out its role and its function in the best interests of good governance here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and to stamp out corruption, and to tell people who take public office that you have a duty, and your duty is to ensure that there is transparency, accountability, fairness, and integrity. Don't come and tell us one day that you want to get into government because you want to bring a change and you want to do this and you want to do that, and then when you get into government, you get a 649. Get a 649. And you slap us in the face as voters, as citizens of this country. And you tell us basically that we're garbage by your actions, the things that you do. And I still maintain that there are people who take public office that they mean well. They mean well. They genuinely want to make a change. They genuinely want to be the agent or fight for good governance. But then there are some people who are just bad-minded and corrupt, and they just seek to get in, to do absolutely nothing but enrich themselves, and they forget about the poor people. And not even just about poor people, but they forget that this is not for you to go and play dolly house. This is not for you to go and do as you feel. This is for you to look after the best interest of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, regardless of where they're from, who they may have voted for, what their last name is, if they're big or they're small, it doesn't matter. Your job as a member of public office is to uphold transparency and accountability and to do the people's work. That is what I think their job should be. We'll take a break to give a shout out to our sponsors, and when we come back, we will open the phone lines and we'll take some calls from you. The numbers to call are 466-0989 or 662-0989. That's 466-0989 or 662-0989. We'll take this break and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
TDC for service, TDC for quality. TDC your company, TDC for service, TDC for quality. TDC your company. Together we succeed, building our strong community, pressing onward to our destiny. One love, one family. Together we succeed. Let the whole world see. Yes, this is 50.
You hear that? That's unlimited WhatsApp and Facebook messaging with Flow's unlimited super combo prepaid plan.
Music to my ears. I can do everything in it?
Yeah, all you want. Have endless fun when you activate a 7-day plan for just $25. Enjoy 10 gigs of endless data for all your pics, GIFs, stickers, voice notes, voice calls, docs, and even video calls. Do all you want with unlimited WhatsApp and Facebook messaging on Flow's unlimited super combo prepaid plans. Switch to Flow today. Conditions apply.
So check it out.
Friends is for you and me. Giving back to community. Friends is for you and me. Better for your family. Better service, better price, better value, better choice. Rewarding you for loyalty. Friends is for you and me. Better price and quality.
Welcome back to the program. Let's head back to the phone lines and we will take some calls. Caller, good morning. You are on the air.
Good
Good morning, Devon.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm too blessed to be stressed.
That's good to
I
hear.
cast all my cares on him because he cared for me. That's why you must do nothing about the stress. Jesus said, don't be anxious for nothing. Nobody giving us stress. Now, let me address the two issues raised. The first one with the ombudsman. I wish the pastor well. I wish him well, you know. Because the expectation is low. The expectation of the public is low.
Why you say that?
We have had ombudsmen who collect their pay every month, do nothing.
I don't want to.
Look, they could have meant to the ombudsman when you come down on a Wednesday and so. You know what I mean? You got to be, you have to be independent. And that is what the problem we have in St. Kitts. The lack of independence of a lot of our people. The party, we live in a country where the party is supreme. And the prime minister is king. And the party goes above the constitution. That is what Forbes Burnham called party supremacy. Did you ever hear about that?
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of Caribbean countries think it is one. Whichever government in, they create posts and give people a chance to earn an income and to get opportunities. They don't function. They could have laws and bylaws and regulation. The people are not allowed to function. And if they attempt to function, they are easily sidelined. They get rid of you if they could. If they can't get away with a repercussion, they sideline you. So I wish the pastor well, because they not they alone, you know, but it's expected that is more like a defense for the government. You carry your matter to him or her. And he is often very limited by what he could do. He could come and say, well, Mr. Minister, this person bring whatnot.
So
Like a stupid.
how successful do you think the office would be? Well, how successful do you think the office would be, realistically?
How what?
How successful do you think that office would be in terms of his investigation?
As successful as the past ones. We make laws, we're still waiting. Those who have to file by July, right?
I think so,
The
yes.
Integrity in Public Life. In July, they say?
Yes. Yeah, I stand to be correct.
Next year?
I think it's this year. Isn't it this year?
I thought it was the end of July. So, they're giving everybody a chance to do what they have to do. That's it, you know. A lot of people who money pass through, who have access to government funds, in making decisions, have been excluded. They reduce it significantly and leave a lot of people free. So, what you can do for yourself, by fronting, the word by fronting?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes, go ahead. Make a point.
Yeah, fronting will take place. So I didn't do it. Like the one in Trinidad, he was the wife. All right, let me get, so that is that. I wish the new ombudsman well, and he should know that there are many people looking to see if it will be any different. And I would encourage our people to use the services if you need it. Because most people can say, yeah, make no sense, I go come in and get no satisfaction. You know, that could be a response to it. Well, nobody ain't come, but the people's expectation is low. Or they expect nothing at all, they're not going to go. Now, let me get to the news exhibition.
Sure.
Agriculture exhibition.
Yes.
I really must come and Nevis, you know. I'm going to have to come over there and buy one of those houses up on the hill. Boy, I'll come over there and claim my people land. They say, when you come to Nevis and you ask, they say, well, your grandfather ain't leaving the land here. So they can't tell me nothing. Freeman are coming from this year. Anyway, I think you all are doing very well. The response seems to be more positive over there. I don't know what about it. When I hear the products that they do at the abattoir, I mean, it is good. I was even wondering if they couldn't send some of the carcasses from our abattoir to Nevis.
That's a
to
good
have them
suggestion.
done that way. You all make sausage. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
You think it is possible or workable?
Perhaps a collaboration between both departments, both ministries.
Yeah, I
and
mean, we
agriculture.
pay them for doing the processing and whatnot. When I hear sausage, you know, all of those things, yes, sir? I am saying to myself, we're walking into these places in here and buying sausage, we don't even know what's in them. And Nevis makes them. I don't know, are they sold at outlets in St. Kitts?
I'm not sure. I believe so.
Yeah, find out if they sell some of the things. I mean, in supermarkets, you know. Because nowadays you buy supermarkets. And all the ham and so. I must commend Mr. King. Wait name again. Banky? For the orchard?
Yes.
Have you ever been there?
No, I've not. But
Make it your business to go and come back and tell us.
All right, then.
When I hear about all of these trees, the variety and the number, I am impressed because we have tried in St. Kitts, on the Mr. Bratcher. There was the orchard down in Wingfield where they used to come around and sell avocados, orange, grapefruit. They even had the plant cabbage, you know, that kind of stuff. And the people stole most of the stuff. They don't want to pay. The last one is some people's occupation. You plant, they reap. And over time, the thing has been abandoned. Other people trying to use it. But when I hear Banky talking about what they have done in Nevis, I am impressed.
All right, then.
How much coconut trees they have brought in, you know? I want you to go over there and see, tell Banky say hello. But
right,
I am really and truly impressed. Shaddock. I have not seen Shaddock for years. You know, we used to buy them from the market vendors on Nevis. So they have Shaddock, tangerine, and the dog organic trees too. I mean, I am impressed. So I would encourage all those who want to go over and see. The farmers should go over and see. And another thing for the Nevis vendors, while I'm at it. When I hear on the radio that they're selling these watermelon and so, $1.50 a pound. And someone got the gall to sell it for $5. How much they both charge them? They buy them up there cheap, even when they were selling potato and onions. And they bring them to St. Kitts, which is just one split away. And the price double. I know they must make a profit, but Lord, that is extortionate.
All right, then,
So,
Carlo.
You don't think so?
I can't say I don't work in the field, so I don't know what it is.
You got to
for them.
pay more attention. You're in the field called journalism. Everything is in your field now.
I don't think so.
I keep in your breast, you know, so you could know where to go check out on me. Because I can't see so.
All right, then, Carlo.
But
Well,
serious. Anyway, I commend Nevis. The agriculture, the minister, department, they're doing a good job.
All right, then, Carlo. We want to take some more calls. Well, thank you for your contribution. And we'll take some more calls right here on 98.9. The phone lines are open, and we're taking your calls at 466-0989 or 662-0989. That's 466-0989 or 662-0989. It is 11:44. We'll break at 12 for the headline news. And of course, the conversation continues after that. For those of you who are just joining the conversation, we're on the topic of the installation of the Ombudsman and the Agri Expo to take place in Nevis on March 30 and 31. Caller, good morning. You are on the air.
Yes, good morning.
You have to turn off the radio first before we can have a conversation. There's too much feedback, all right?
I'm glad to hear that an ombudsman has been appointed again. I would like to say it's certainly not an easy job, and I hope that Bishop Williams could make a good try of it. One of the previous ombudsmen that I knew about, he was more tied up with the ruling powers. The last one I knew about was a high member of the St. Kitts Nevis Trades and Labor Union. And I guess I don't know if he wanted to satisfy the people appointed him, or he ran into the kind of problems that I've been speaking about. Because as I say, it's not an easy job. But I hope that Bishop Williams can make a good try of it, because there are times when the services of one are extremely needed. Thank you.
All right, caller, and thank you so much for your contribution to this program. It is 11:47 here in the studios of WINNFM 98.9. This is Voices for Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. So those of you who are just joining the conversation, we are on the topic of the installation of a new ombudsman here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and Agri Expo to take place on the island of Nevis on March 30th and 31st, 2023. It is an all-day event, and it will take place at the El Quemido T. Willett Park, March 30th and 31st. But on the topic of the installation of the ombudsman, your views, your take on it, and what does this mean? What does this mean? For good governance in St. Kitts and Nevis. It is a role essentially to investigate maladministration. For example, a government promises to investigate an allegation or something, and there is an unreasonable delay, or you just decide not to investigate. The ombudsman's task is to find out why. And I agree with that caller to some extent that the job is a difficult one. The expectation, people will be expecting something to be done, while at the same time, because of the precedent set, they may not expect much, if you guys understand where I'm coming from. But it is, I agree with you, caller, a difficult job because of how small St. Kitts and Nevis is, as a country, and our community, and basically, everybody, and you have some sort of relationship or whatever with somebody. It is hard for there to be, independent. It is hard for anyone to be fully independent. And because, of course, we are humans, there is always the human bias, there's always a bias. And so I do wish Bishop Williams the very best in this new role. And I would say that I would be looking on to see how serious the functions and responsibilities of this office will be taken, and how to see if we're going to get anything coming from this office. And I'm going to be as frank as I can be. At the same time, I don't believe in writing people off before we give them that opportunity to prove that they can do something and they can bring about that change that is needed. And so I will, as I often say, I'll sit back and I'll look on and see what is going to happen. As I said earlier, for those of you who are not aware of the role and functions of an ombudsman, Bishop Williams has given his commitment to educate the people of St. Kitts and Nevis of the roles and functions and responsibilities of an ombudsman. But in a nutshell, investigate maladministration. There are a number of investigations, a list. I have a long list upstairs on in my desk, on in not a paper, in my book, where I would write my notes of a number of investigations that have started over the years, even before I started working here. And not because you don't hear us as members of the media asking the questions at the press conferences or during live programs or whatever, mean that we are not following up or investigating. The fact of the matter is, it's not going to take us a day or a week or a month. It might take you a whole year. Because, you know, when you meet certain people, and I should perhaps replace that with stumbling blocks or speed bumps or ditches or I don't even know what to describe it as. But in your pursuit of justice or in your pursuit of trying to get some information, you meet a stumbling block, which is a person or people. And because of whatever connection there is and how serious the situation is, you are totally blocked out and shut down. But there is a long list of things, happening here in St. Kitts and Nevis or that have happened over the years, and you're trying to get an update, and it's difficult. We have a caller on the line. Caller, good morning. You are on the air.
Hey, good morning, Brother Devon. Good morning.
How are you doing?
Yeah, Brother Devon. You hear me?
Yes, it sounds like you're on the farm.
Yes, I hear about the animals then.
All right then.
No, Brother Devon, nothing wrong in putting people in place. Putting laws that to govern the country and to see government ministers them do what they're supposed to do. Nothing wrong with that. That is a good idea. But Brother Devon, if these things don't function, we want these things will function, because they had ombudsman before, can't do Miss Nvidia, and you see nothing, a lot of things happen, and ombudsman just sitting down getting his months pay or whatsoever. And I never hear case go to him yet who say that somebody win a case because somebody do wrong in government or whatsoever. So nothing wrong with these things. These things that we got to try, and people got to be more independent and take politics out of whatever. Because the thing is that when we put a government there, we elect a government to run the country, whether unity, PLP, PAM, Labour or whatever, we're looking for good leadership. We're looking for people, because you might be association with this political party, associate yourself with whosoever was in that political party, that you get victimized and all those things. A lot of people complaining to me that they get sent home and all these things. And I believe that when they send home people, whether they wrong or they right, they must know the people know where they send them home for. Because, you know, this is a ticklish thing to send home a man or a woman who got 5 children and a mortgage to pay. And because of our political affiliation or whatsoever, you can send her home because she's supporting the political party in the past. And these things we don't want to happen. And I want to commend my good friend Glenroy Blanchett. I believe he deserves that job. You understand? He's an understandable man, and he's an educator and everything, and I believe Glenroy Blanchett deserves that job because Glenroy Blanchett stand up to principle. And the People's Action Movement, Glenroy Blanchett and some others, they stand up for principle because everybody knows the story about Mr. Grant and the marriage story. And that is what held for the PAM party down to where they was. And then after that, Dr. Harris come out of that labor regime, he and Sam Kanda, and do what they got to do to farm a unity government and see where they end up. So we ain't want no more of these things. We want to see people. We want to look at government. And government run the country. Not one half not talk to half, this half not talk to this half, and that half not talk to the other half. We want everything to run because that's what the people put you there for. The people, election day, people vote convincingly for government. They vote for your promises and stay on them, and people looking out for that. But that's why you see me now. I ain't in the politics much. I got in here, but I ain't in the politics as much as how I used to be. I want to see government functioning. I don't cost nobody, build on nobody to this degree. I want to see the government, they like a government, and I want to see government function for each and every citizen of this federation of think it needs, no matter what. Okay, Brother Devan, you have a wonderful lunch. May God bless you and keep you.
All right, you too, and enjoy the rest of your day. Let's take a quick break to acknowledge our sponsors, and when we come back, we will wrap it up for the headline news.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
You hear that? That's unlimited WhatsApp and Facebook messaging with Flow's unlimited super combo prepaid plan.
Music to my ears. I can do everything in it.
Yeah, all you want. Have endless fun when you activate a 7-day plan for just $25. Enjoy 10 gigs of endless data for all your pics, GIFs, stickers, voice notes, voice calls, docs, and even video calls. Do all you want with unlimited WhatsApp and Facebook messaging on Flow's unlimited super combo prepaid plans. Switch to Flow today. Conditions apply.
So check it out. Friends is for you and me. Giving back to community. Friends is for you and me. Better for your family. Better service, better price, better value, better choice. Rewarding you for loyalty. Friends is for you and me. Better price and quality.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust to secure your investment. You need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
You're always safe with us.
This is Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9 for Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. We'll take a break now for the headline news, and when we come back, we will continue the conversation right here on WINNFM 98.9. For those of you who are who may have joined the conversation late, we were on the topic of the installation of an ombudsman. There, Reverend Bishop Cyprian Williams has been installed as the new ombudsman here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and the Agri Expo to take place in Nevis on March 30th and 31st, 2023. Guys, we have to break now for the headline news, but when we come back, we will continue the conversation. The phone lines will be open, and so you can call us at 466-0989 or 662-0989. That's 466-0989 or 662-0989. You can also follow the conversation via our social media platforms or even via our website at www.winmediaskn.com. Our social media platforms are Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and you can just search WINNMedia SKN and you'll definitely find it. We'll take a break now for the headline news, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation right here on WINNFM 98.9.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, and NHC.
NHC is helping you to pay less in 2023. Having difficulties keeping up to date with your mortgage? Make an appointment to speak with your account manager today and learn how you can pay less. Our refinancing program will give you the opportunity to pay as low as $300 a month. Call us 466-4701 or visit our office at East Park Range. Pay less. Worry less with NHC refinancing program that's designed with you in mind. Offer valid from February 1st to June 30th.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Dalil Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
Black Sands Music Festival presents Knock Shore Night, featuring international dancehall sensation Shansia. And Def Jam recording artist Massacre. Live Saturday, April 8th at Sandy Point, St. Kitts. Get your tickets online now with Jad Cash or contact 869-664-4179 for info. Black Sands Music Festival returns with Shansia.
No girl can't see me and cause problem. Them a man clowns and me walk
and Massacre.
Start it and them a run help you walk.
Plus live bands and local DJs. Knock Shore Night, Easter Saturday, April 8th, a Palm Nations tour event.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
With the Win FM Midday News, I am Kevon Brown. Our top stories: St. Kitts Nevis government to invest $200 million over 10 years to water security. United Nations says water security under threat. Nevis Agriculture Department promises a large quantity of grade A quality products at Agri Expo 2023. St. Vincent Prime Minister stands by decision made about the COVID-19 vaccine mandate. Internationally, protests have continued in several French cities after President Emmanuel Macron used executive powers to push through a pension reform without a vote in Parliament. Meanwhile, ex-UK Prime Minister Johnson faces a Partygate parliamentary grilling. Now the details. On the heels of International Day of Forests on March 21st and Global Recycling Day on March 18th, global leaders, policymakers, and experts will gather for the United Nations 2023 Water Conference from March 22nd through 24th in New York, coinciding with World Water Day 2023. According to the United Nations, quote, water and climate change are inextricably linked. Climate change affects the world's water in complex ways, from unpredictable rainfall patterns to shrinking ice sheets, rising sea levels, floods, and droughts. Most impacts of climate change come down to water, end quote. These negatively affect agriculture, tourism, infrastructure, health, and other intersectional components of society, especially for small island developing states. One of the most significant impacts related to water is the scarcity of potable water. According to the Sustainable Development Goals report of 2022, quote, 2 billion people worldwide don't have access to safe drinking water today, with almost half of the world's population experiencing severe water scarcity for at least part of the year, end quote. Global leaders committed to Sustainable Development Goal 6 as part of the 2030 Agenda, which promises that everyone will have safely managed water and sanitation by 2030. The commitment was made in 2015, and the United Nations says, right now, we are seriously off track. Business as usual can no longer cut it as climate change continues to affect access to water. Thus, the theme this year is accelerating change. Minister responsible for water services, the Honorable Conrad Maynard, is attending the United Nations 2023 Water Conference on behalf of the Federation to be a voice at the decision-making table. On the occasion of World Water Day, Minister Maynard delivered an address where he indicated that if St. Kitts and Nevis does not intensify conservation efforts, we will run out of water.
Here in St. Kitts Nevis, this must be a time of reckoning for us. For the past few decades, our local water experts have been sending out the message but few of us have been taking heed. The message is simple for all of us to understand. We live on small island state of 104 square miles. All of our fresh water comes from the rain that falls on the island. It does not rain every day, and sometimes it goes for weeks without raining. But we expect to use water every day. If we do not use the little water we have conservatively, we will run out.
Over the past decade in St. Kitts and Nevis, there has been an 18% decrease in the average rainfall, which could lead to longer dry periods and shorter and more intense wet seasons. Maynard indicated that the government would invest $200 million over the next 5 to 10 years to build out a more resilient, sustainable water infrastructure. Agriculture is one of the leading sectors of St. Kitts and Nevis, supplying products for domestic and foreign markets. This opportunity becomes even more accessible for residents when the products are brought outdoors to their avail. This year, 2023, is the inaugural hosting of Agri Expo, an improved version of what is commonly called Agriculture Open Day on the island of Nevis. Mr. Brandon Frederick, estate manager at the Department of Agriculture, said the field and greenhouse workers are working diligently to deliver a large quantity of grade A quality crops.
Currently, we are here at Prospect Estate, where we have some sweet potatoes. The approximate yield should be about 2,000 pounds. They should be available for the Agri Expo on the 30th and 31st of this month. Here in the river, we have a half acre of sweet potato, in addition with the other half acre in Prospect that makes up 1 acre of sweet potato that will be available for the Agri Expo. It should yield about 4,000 pounds. We also have here a lovely crop of corn, which is a half acre. This should yield about 1,500 pounds. Right here we have some lovely watermelon here. The acreage of this field is 0.75 of an acre. We should be able to harvest about 7,500 pounds of watermelon from this field. Here in the river, we have a half acre of prestige carrot. This should yield about 5,000 pounds. This will also be available for the Agri Expo. We have 1 acre of onion. This should approximately give us about 10,000 pounds of onion. We are at the final stage of curing, which is windrowing and sun drying. That gives us the golden brown appearance that everyone looks for at their local supermarket.
Additional crop availability includes tomatoes, cabbage, sweet peppers, and celery. Frederick said about 2,000 pounds of tomatoes, 300 cabbages, 300 celery, and 500 sweet peppers should be ready just in time for Agri Expo 2023. Meanwhile, Mr. Gray Griffin, manager at the Abattoir Division, said a meat aging room was recently installed at the abattoir. Meat aging is a process by which a carcass is hung in a room under a certain temperature for about 3 weeks or 21 days to be tenderized. Griffin said the first trial at the meat aging room was a beef carcass, which has since been cut into various forms, including top round, bottom round, eye round, ribs, T-bone steak, chuck steak, and ribeye. The products, Griffin said, will be sold for the first time at the Agri Expo, thus paving the way for sale to the general public thereafter. Agri Expo 2023 will be hosted at the Elkomeda T. Willett Park on March 30th to 31st under the patronage of Mr. Colin Huggins. The theme for the event is Together for Food Sovereignty, Agri Expo 2023. In regional news, St. Vincent Prime Minister stands by decision made about the COVID-19 vaccine mandate. That report and more from Carib Update.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves has insisted that his administration acted lawfully and in the interest of protecting the health of all Vincentians with respect to the deadly COVID-19 virus. He made the comments even while public sector workers and their supporters protested outside of the financial complex on Monday. A recent court ruling demanded that public servants who were effectively fired when they refused to be vaccinated must be reimbursed for lost income and reinstated. But in an interview with the state-sponsored Agency for Public Information on Monday, Gonzalez said that the COVID-19 vaccination drive was reasonably required in the interest of public health.
You do it in a balanced way. The judge tell you, no, you weren't balanced. You were disproportionate. What do I do then? As a government, I let the pandemic rip and kill as many people as possible, destroy livelihoods more extensively than some livelihoods were destroyed. That's what I must do? Absolutely not. So my conscience is clear.
The government has declared it will appeal the court ruling. Prime Minister Gonzalez has little regret with what transpired.
But the real heroes are those who took the vaccine and went to work for the good of the community. They took a personal responsibility and they did so in collective solidarity.
The Prime Minister again urged teachers to reapply to enter the service, noting that unvaccinated teachers can now return simply because the threat has receded. The unions said there is no need for workers to reapply for jobs that are legally theirs. The Federation of Organizations of Teachers in Suriname tells the government there that schools should remain closed on Friday, following the announcement by several groups of impending protest action. The Federation said while a decision has not yet been taken regarding the participation of teachers in the protest, the matter had been discussed. The groups are planning to protest the high cost of living in the Dutch-speaking CARICOM country. The Federation sent a letter to the government negotiating body on March 3, making new proposals, but to date has not received a formal response. The United Nations says that new clashes between gangs in Haiti's capital and beyond have killed at least 187 people in less than 2 weeks and injured more than 150 others. Officials said that a fresh wave of violence was recorded between February 27 and March 9 in the capital Port-au-Prince and in the central region of Artibonite. They said the violence displaced hundreds of people and forced farmers to abandon fields as starvation worsens. The surge of violence in central Haiti has been largely blamed on a gang called Bas Grand Grif, which roughly translates to Big Claw Crew. In addition, nearly 260 kidnappings have been reported since the start of the year, with people abducted from their homes or public places, officials said. Gangs have grown more powerful since the July 2021 assassination of President Jovenel Moïse and already control an estimated 60% of Port-au-Prince.
We now bring you these international reports.
More protests have been taking place in various French cities after the President Emmanuel Macron used controversial executive powers to push through a pension reform without a vote in Parliament. Mr. Macron is due to give a rare TV interview later. He's facing a political crisis less than a year after his re-election for a second term. Sofia Betitsa reports.
There's an outcry in France. In the past week, more than 1,500 protests have taken place all over the country. Place de la République in Paris last night. Some protests turned violent. Police clashed with demonstrators, and hundreds were arrested. This all happened after President Macron used controversial executive powers last week to push through his deeply unpopular pension reform. This means that the retirement age in France will now be raised from 62 to 64.
I think that today the Fifth Republic is showing its true face, which is that of a regime that is not democratic, since the president can decide to pass a law that is rejected by 90% of French people.
To think that all those people who are already in really trying jobs will have to keep going until they are 64 is not right. They just see people as profits.
Well, Macron never listened to us, so now this is war. I think that at one point he won't have a choice. He will have to withdraw his reform.
But President Macron doesn't seem to have any intention of backing down. He said there would be no government reshuffle, no fresh elections, and no referendum on his pension reform. And after a week of not being seen in public, today he will give a rare TV interview. His hope will be to use the interview to calm things down and put an end to the protests. But that's easier said than done. Macron is facing his most serious challenge since the Yellow Vest riots 4 years ago. And with more strikes planned for Thursday, the anger that many French people feel is not going away. Sofia Bettiza, BBC News.
The United Nations is warning today of an approaching global water crisis because of pollution, global warming and overconsumption. It's published a new report on the issue before the first dedicated water summit in more than 40 years. Consumption of water keeps rising and the report says about 10% of the world's population live under water stress, where the ratio of water use to water availability is considered high or critical. At the last assessment in 2020, over a quarter of people around the globe still lacked access to safe drinking water, while 3.6 billion lacked access to safely managed sanitation services. The report says the water crisis is worst in low-income countries. For example, an estimated 70% of the population of sub-Saharan Africa lacks safe drinking water services. Aruna Iyengar reports.
Humanity's lifeblood, water, is increasingly at risk around the world due to vampiric overconsumption and overdevelopment. That's the language used in the UN report.
10% of the global population currently lives in areas that are high or critical water stress. In our report, we said that up to 3.5 billion people live under conditions of water stress at least 1 month a year.
The meeting in New York is asking governments and the private sector to come up with a water action agenda to meet a goal set in 2015 to ensure access to water and sanitation for all by 2030. The UN says up to half the world's population doesn't have access to sanitation and a quarter doesn't have access to a safe water supply. It blames unsustainable water use, pollution and unchecked global warming. The UN is now calling for a change in attitude towards water as a shared resource.
The global water cycle is a global common good. We just don't want to understand it because we believe water belongs to us. We need to invest with that in our minds.
The report notes that water scarcity has the greatest impact on poorer people and children. UNICEF had recently warned that 190 million children in 10 African countries don't have access to clean water. The UN says current levels of investment would have to be tripled to get safe drinking water for all by 2030. Aruna Iyengar, BBC News.
Amanda Henry remembers her dad Robert in happier times.
So this one is New Year's party at my cousin's pub. His Tam O'Shanter hat, which he wore all the time.
She tries hard not to think of him at the end, withered by dementia, stricken with COVID in the East London care home where he died.
We trusted the government to protect all of us, especially the most vulnerable in our society, and they just didn't do it.
COVID-19 ravaged care homes across the country, places where tests and PPE were in short supply. People like Amanda will be watching closely as former Prime Minister Boris Johnson gives evidence about his actions at the time. The Privileges Committee isn't investigating whether Boris Johnson acted illegally with respect to those drinks gatherings in Downing Street that became known as Partygate. The police have already decided that he did. What's at issue here is whether he deliberately misled Parliament, lied to MPs when he told them at the time that no rules had been broken.
I'm sure that whatever happened, the guidance was followed and the rules were followed at all times.
At stake, potentially, is Johnson's future as an MP and his career in politics.
This really is high stakes, high pressure for Boris Johnson, because if he does get it wrong, it's game over, back to the drawing board. But if he is able to come away from this looking favourable, then who knows, the comeback might be back on after all. But I think the odds are stacked against him.
Boris Johnson intends to mount a robust defence. He'll point to advice he received from officials that drinks parties at the heart of government were work events, and therefore that he was unaware any rules were being broken. The committee will counter with evidence from Downing Street employees, including one quoting Johnson joking at an event that this is the most unsocially distanced gathering in the UK right now.
I don't think he should have a career in government. He shouldn't be an MP. After what he's done, it upsets me that he's not being held accountable.
Amanda and families across the country may have to wait years for the findings of an independent inquiry into the government's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. For now, the public grilling of the Prime Minister many feel let them down is the closest to vindication they can get. Jonah Hull, Al Jazeera, London.
In Joe Biden's childhood hometown of Scranton, Pennsylvania, signs of affection for the United States president are hard to miss. Streets in an expressway into the city bear his name, and letters from him adorn the walls of local businesses. But despite those strong ties, some voters here say they have concerns about the president running for re-election. Among them, his advanced age, as Biden at 80 is already the oldest sitting president in history. Jen Saunders owns the Northern Light Espresso Bar downtown.
I worry about his age and his health. But would he be the lesser of two evils once again? I don't know.
Podcast producer Amber Viola would like to see younger candidates.
I think that some of our politicians we have right now who have been in politics for a long time, maybe they need to pass the mantle on to the next generation of politicians and kind of like take them under their wing and help guide them and teach them to learn so that we can have somebody who progressives are enthusiastic about, who young people are enthusiastic about.
The interviews provide a window into voters' attitudes toward Biden's re-election bid, set to be formally announced in coming weeks. National polls show Democrats want a younger candidate, and the lack of fervor in Scranton may be an early warning sign for the party. Biden's approval rating remains quite low, but it ticked up slightly to 42% in a Reuters Ipsos poll this month. Scranton, where European immigrants once flocked to local coal mines, has long been the foundation of Biden's origin story, even though he left around the age of 10. The region was dominated for years by Democrats, but even as Donald Trump upended that dynamic with his support among white working-class voters, Biden won the county. Few residents, though, say life has improved under Biden. Glenn Johns is a local activist who had hoped having a Scranton native in the White House would illuminate the problems facing Rust Belt cities.
I still think there should be more than street names that are changed and highways that are renamed for you, because those highways are still got potholes.
Roughly 1 in 5 people in Scranton are in poverty, twice the national rate, and the school district sits near the bottom of national and state rankings. John says she is disappointed so far.
People that are on Biden Street are still struggling with their businesses.
Former Scranton Mayor Jim Connors remains a strong Biden supporter who says if he wants to run again,
let somebody step up and beat him.
Current Mayor Paige Cognetti says the city has benefited from millions of stimulus dollars which help pay for a new fleet of electric vehicles. Biden is also supporting a plan to build a new rail line from Scranton to New York City.
So when I think about President Biden, I don't just think about President Biden being our hometown son. I think about him ushering through an era of funding for the things that cities like Scranton need.
You were listening to the Midday News on WINNFM 98.9. The headlines: St. Kitts Nevis government to invest $200 million over 10 years to water security. United Nations says water security under threat. Nevis Agriculture Department promises a large quantity of grade A quality products at Agri-Expo 2023. St. Vincent Prime Minister stands by decision made about the COVID-19 vaccine mandate. Internationally, protests have continued in several French cities after President Emmanuel Macron used executive powers to push through a pension reform without a vote in Parliament. Meanwhile, ex-UK Prime Minister Johnson faces a Partygate parliamentary grilling. Thank you for listening.
That was the WINNFM Headline News. The Headline News is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, and NHC.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoy the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
Black Sands Music Festival presents Knockshore Night, featuring international dancehall sensation Shansia. And Def Jam recording artist Massacre. Live Saturday, April 8th at Sandy Point, St. Kitts. Get your tickets online now with Jadcash or contact 869-664-4179 for info. Black Sands Music Festival returns with Shansia.
Now girl can't see me and cause problem. Them a man clowns and me walk on them.
Massacre.
Start it and them a run help you walk
Plus
on.
live bands and local DJs. Knockshore Night, Easter Saturday, April 8th. A Palm Nations tour event.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Delisle Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
NHC is helping you to pay less in 2023. Having difficulties keeping up to date with your mortgage? Make an appointment to speak with your account manager today and learn how you can pay less. Our refinancing program will give you the opportunity to pay as low as $300 a month. Call us 466-4701 or visit our office at East Park Range. Pay less, worry less with NHC refinancing program that's designed with you in mind. Offer valid from February 1st to June 30th.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis is now online, providing simple and convenient services to pay your loan anywhere at any time. It begins with you logging on to our website, www.skndb.com. Click the online payment option, select Request Access, input your personal information, and submit payment. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Yes, we've made it easier for you to pay your loan anytime, anywhere. The Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis, making a sustained positive difference in your life.
This is your boy, Super Handy Andy, with your Super Handy Andy deals at Horses Building Center for the month of March. Mini blinds was $178.43, now $151.67. Flush valve repair kit was $78.61, now just $66.82. Eco tankless water heater was $1846.41, now reduced to $1569.79. Bathroom cabinet saver was $582.62, it's only now just $495.24. Freestanding closet was $554.91, it's now only $471.67. Super handy Andy deals at Hosford's Building Center for the month of March only, making home improvement easy.
Welcome back to Voices right here on 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. The phone lines are open and we're taking your calls at 466-0989 or 662-0989. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Caller, good afternoon. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Devon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. And my friend is doing good too.
Good to hear.
Okay. Lovely. Now, I heard something in the Caribbean news, and it doesn't sound good. But another time for that. Over 500 persons has been killed in Haiti through gang violence and other innocent people. But another time for that. Let me deal here now with the ombudsman. Now, the ombudsman is supposed to be somebody neutral. And they're supposed to give justice where justice is required. They should not take any side with anybody, and they should not condone wrong. They should condemn wrong and uphold righteousness. Now the new ombudsman person who they have there, when the former administration was in office, he wanted a piece of land to build a church building. And he was informed that the piece of land that he wanted, it belonged to somebody. And he determined that he wanted that. Well, he did not get it. So what he did, he started protesting by sleeping down Church Street in front of government headquarters on a cot every night in his white. Well, he ain't get a piece of land, but he get a job as an ombudsman, all because of his political affiliation with this new administration. Well, he's supposed to be proclaimed to be a pastor, parson, priest, pope, whatever he may be. We can see now how much footsteps he is walking in behind the Lord Jesus Christ. Because Christ do not uphold and support wrongdoings. No way. He warned in his Bible not to do that. And if anybody walking close in the footsteps, trying to walk in the footsteps of Jesus Christ, they're supposed to be fear and show fairness. Now, suppose all or any one of these persons who this administration turn away, all because they're not backing the labor. They're backing somebody else, either PLP or PAM or NRP. Suppose any one of them go to him for justice, for being sacked from their job. They not yet reached the age of retirement. So why should they turn away because of political affairs? Any one of them go to he for justice, and he only make a mistake and justify the case as you see it and tell the government administration they're wrong to fire these people. He's down the road, he ain't gonna get a job. He will not have no job. So it is left to be seen now what he gonna do if any one of these persons who lost their job just because their forehead brand PAM or Unity or PLP or NRP. We're gonna see. So he get the job, and he get the job because of politics. So brother Devon, we gonna wait and see what happens. If he is fair, as he proclaimed to be a Christian and a pastor, we gonna see. I continue to listen. Thank you.
All right, caller, and this is Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. The phone lines are open, and we're taking your calls at 466-0989 or 662-0989. Thank you for your contribution. It is Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023. Let's head back to the phone lines, and we'll take this call. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, Devon. Devon, I want to touch a little on something I heard in the midday news pertaining to the protest that is happening in France, and in particular with the President Emmanuel Macron. Devon, for the last 4 years, France been going through a lot of turmoil in terms of protests with the people of France. Now, 2 years ago, Emmanuel Macron was very robust on the continent of Africa, where he has deployed military troops in Africa in order for him to, well, let me say, we know that France is in fear if he has to vacate the continent of Africa. France would become a third world country. Now, he's been vigorous on the continent of Africa for the last 2 years, while there were so many protests that was happening in Paris and France on a whole. Now, more of that's going to happen, and I'll tell you why I'm saying this, Devon. You see, on a spiritual level, the wickedness of the wicked will not go unpunished. It's amazing that we, let me say good afternoon to Mrs. Henry and all listening. This is Journey here. We know that the scripture says in the last days there are going to be wars and rumors of wars. Well, who is tying up these people, Devon? Who is tying up these people? I am referring to the external powers. NATO, America, Canada, all of them, Devon. All of them with their military power who have ruled this system for the last 400 or 2,000 years. Devon, the wickedness that they have poured out on humanity and specifically to African people globally will not go unpunished. We have a saying, say God work in mysterious ways. Well, you know, we have to know our concept of who God is. Because remember, because we disobeyed, we were enslaved for 400 years. Well, Devon, today, all that happened on the 400 years, we were in the age of Pisces. We are now in the age of Aquarius. So the books and our DNA has been reactivated. We are no longer sleeping. It's a global awakening for the melanated man, woman, and child, Devon. France is going to crumble, and so will the whole of Europe, NATO, all of them must come to naught, Devon. They rule by the gun, intimidation, they create chaos, and they feed the world with their narrative and their own agenda. I don't look at CNN, Devon. I don't look at BBC. I don't look at Fox. I know my sources because my source that gives me news, they look like me. And I can relate. I relate to the news from my sources because it is in the scripture. Are you following me, Devon?
Yeah, I'm listening to you.
Everything that is happening to these events, it is scriptural. The scripture is my culture, Devon. It's an African culture. So therefore, empires fall, empires rise. The scripture, I cannot touch every aspect of the scripture, Devon. Follow me closely. Because there are texts and quotes in the scripture. But I am saying, when I consider what is happening, what has happened to Africans and humanity as a whole, let us look at COVID. There are those who will say, well, COVID killed black and white. Well, yes, it did. But we were the subject. Make no mistake about that. We were the subject, but they have to make it look wholesale. They have to touch. I mean, these are people who are willing to take down some of their own just to create or to please their narrative. And they did all of that. Because remember, when we had the First World War, it was let me not say World War. When Europe was fighting against Europeans were fleeing. They end up in Haiti from their general, their highly worshipped general, Napoleon. And it's Haiti who rescued Europeans. Now, because of what Haiti did to Napoleon, They have made an example of Haiti. Never again a black man would whip a white man. Devon, they have their weapon of war because they have mastered the art of war. I want our people to pay attention because they cannot be the solution for the future. They are going to annihilate themselves, Devon. They're going to annihilate themselves because the Creator, the Most High, is in control. Even though they are at war, Devon, the earth is cleaning itself from that wickedness. Now, that has spilled over in our race, Devon, because we cannot even understand how we can kill our own. But I said to those of us who like to shed blood, woe be unto you. Woe be unto you, all those of you who have shed blood. And I even would go further by saying our former Prime Minister, who did say he takes no blame when he was the Minister of National Security. You have to search yourself because words are power. For all of our people that are here in St. Kitts and Nevis who have shed blood and take lives, woe be unto you. We are life. Our main objective, we are the direct expression of our Creator. And our Creator does not take life. Africans weren't even supposed to cut down a tree unless they communicate with a tree. So never mind like to take life of another animal. Those are our totems. Everything that is of life, even what we consume, we had to get permission. It is our culture. It is our spirituality. Life. Life is eternal, Devon. So all of us who have killed and shed blood, make amends, repent.
All right, then.
Or else woe be unto us. Thank you for hearing me.
All right, Carl, thank you for your contribution to this program. This is 98.9, and you're tuned into Voices from Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023. It is just a few minutes, 12:51, here in the studios of 98.9. We'll head back to the phone lines, and we'll take some more calls. The caller, you're on the air. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Devon. Greetings to you once more in Jesus' name, the only Savior of His chosen sinners from their sins and from hell, and the second person of the eternal Trinity. Now, first of all, I always hear certain people say that black people was enslaved for 400 years. I would like to know when the 400 years began and when it ended. Because I know it is said, well, in this part of the world, the slavery began in 16-something and ended in the 1800s. And there's no way you could get 400 years with that. That's number one. Number two, in listening to the news, I heard Ralph Gonsalves saying that the people who took the COVID shots, they were heroes. They did it to save the community. But the evidence and the studies that are coming out now, well, and even during the COVID time, it ain't just now, even during the COVID, even during the with the rollouts of the vaccine, and more evidence are gathering as time goes on, more and more evidence that the COVID vaccines are doing the very opposite. They're killing people. They are making people sick. They are increasing the rise in a number of illnesses like cancer, shingles, certain mental problems. It's creating problems in infertility. And it's creating, people have been paralyzed by it, all sort of stuff. And, for example, Pfizer have said they have not done any study to show that it prevents transmission. In spite of what they were saying earlier, they now admit on the oath that they were lying. They did not do any studies to show that the vaccine prevented any transmission. So when our doctors and medical professionals were saying, oh, it give 100% protection, like Dr. Laws, Dr. Wilkinson, and others, or it giving 100% protection, that's also. That was conspiracy theories they were getting from CARFA. And CARFA got those conspiracy theories from Pfizer and other official bodies that were spreading those conspiracy theories. But no, the truth is coming out that those things were lies. It ain't preventing any transmission, and they're actually worse than the COVID itself. They're actually killing a lot of people and that sort of stuff. And many countries now are experiencing very high excess in all cases mortality rate. People are dying now more than before the vaccine rolled out. So I just wanted to say these things, and the vaccines ain't what it was. Vaccines, they're not what they were made up to be, and Ralph Gonzalez is very wrong. And I hope the people can get their justice. Thank you.
All right, caller, thank you so much for your contribution to this program. Let's take a short break to acknowledge our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation right here on 98.9. Let's take this quick break, and we'll be right back. For those of you interested in calling, the phone lines are open, so you can call us at 466-0989 or 662-0989. Let's take this break, and we'll be right back.
Found the sound, 98.9.
Here are your Horseman's Value Mart IGA specials.
Running March 9 to the 23rd.
Now your Value Club Blue Tag specials. Essential everyday breadcrumbs, just $6.99. Essential everyday shredded and chunk cheeses, just $8.49. Essential everyday applesauce bowls, $11.99. Essential everyday instant puddings and gelatins, $4.49. Purex detergent, $14.99. Essential everyday trash bags, $21.99. And now our very low weekly
value deals. IGA and essential everyday peanut butter, $9.99. IGA and essential everyday vinegar, white 5%, $5.99. Essential everyday pasta, $4.99. IGA and essential everyday cream cheese, $6.49. Mueller's lasagna, $6.99. Soft soap liquid hand soaps, $5.99. Shop smart, shop value mart. Tell them in Spanish.
Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí a Value Mart.
The Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis is now online, providing simple and convenient services to pay your loan anywhere at any time. It begins with you logging on to our website, www.skndb.com. Click the online payment option, select Request Access, input your personal information, and submit payment. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Yes, we've made it easier for you to pay your loan anytime, anywhere. The Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis, making a sustained positive difference in your life.
Welcome back to the conversation. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Caller, good afternoon. You are on the air.
Good afternoon again, Devon. How was your lunch?
I haven't had lunches yet.
Make sure you eat, you know. Because you eat all of these things what my good brothers are saying, going about and getting. I don't know which, I have no idea whether they shop for these conspiracy things, you know. I have no idea. They must give me the address. Shingles is caused by people who had smallpox. The thing remain. You could check it out, you know. Cancer. I mean, this thing give everything. This one COVID thing give everything. The only thing he ain't give is life. I mean, the Bible talk about giving heed to seducing spirits, you know. Giving heed to seducing spirits and fables. Bible talk about fables, you know. You know the Bible, so you know what in there. And I agree with St. Vincent Prime Minister. All of us who took the vaccine should therefore be compensated. If that is all that, you know, you should therefore be rallying that the government give all of us an honorarium who took the vaccine and the booster shot too. That's a logical conclusion. They said it will prevent you from becoming seriously ill. You didn't hear the one, Devon?
Yes, I did.
Then what I say, it prevents you from becoming seriously ill. You hear about long COVID. You have heard about that, you know. You have heard of the benefits of taking it. In anything, whether you took or you did not take anything, certain things happen to you. So all of a sudden, COVID giving cancer, which kind? Lungs, bone, kidney, which one? You got to be more specific. Stress kills more people than cancer, than COVID, you know, stress. A lot of us, we don't believe God. We have our own kind of God. We have our own ideas about God. It has nothing to do with God. And we worry and we stress and we believe a lot of the fables we hear. Fables. Oh, you take the... But by now, 1 million people should have gone. From the time the COVID thing eased up. And for the millions of people who took COVID, man, the population should have lost about 1 billion. I mean, we got to learn to be logical, you know. And you don't listen. I tell you, that's when we have these one-sided arguments. They make no sense. I always say, listen to both sides, or even 3 or 4 sides of the same issue. I do that. When I could have seen, I bought 4 newspapers every week. I don't want a Labour one, no Democrat one, no Labour Times one, and none other one. So we go one side and we look for the side that supports our point of view. And we come and proclaim it as gospel. You don't do that to have a debate. For everyone, that's why Satan is so busy. For every one to one, there's also a counterpart of evil. And we fall into the trap. I wonder what you think about Trump now, because he's a big Trump supporter. He is calling for the people to revolt, to protest if he gets arrested. Well, isn't he the same one who just said didn't stir up the thing in Washington, D.C., the capital? So he wanted another capital take over. And the Bible said, woe to the man who called evil good and good evil. So when we support evil, I suppose at the end in the Bible, neither. The amount of money some of us gamble. It's better off giving the man on 4th Street who begging for a bread, you'll be more blessed. And to suggest that when you buy bonds and you buy treasury bills, you are, what do you call it? I mean, don't it make no sense? When you buy the treasury bills, you know upfront what you're getting, you know, in case you don't know. And you should know. You should know how much interest you're getting. When you lend government money, you should know how much interest you're going to get. It's a hit and miss. And for all of you who like to gamble, you'll be better off if you get a jar, drop the money in it, and bank it. Because look, it used to be like St. Kitts thing. It is a Caribbean lottery, which means you are going up against people not only in St. Kitts, Virgin Islands, Martin, Barbados, other countries. It reduces your chances of winning. So you got to be fooling yourself, deluding yourself. When you're walking in there every morning, some of you every morning you scratch to win. You can with quad church and dollar church, but you're busy scratching, hoping to win. You're better off doing something productive with your money. I don't mean a one person, because a lot of you live on it. Your last $10, and then you come out and you ball. Oh, me ain't got this, me ain't got that. The government ain't give me this and but we are very selective about what is sin in the Bible. We make sure we look for the word computed in the Bible. So, I mean, really, righteousness, holiness is there. Greed is there. So I'm saying again, stop spreading false news. All of you, I don't listen to, how you going to know what's going on in the world? You got to know what happened to fight, to judge. I don't listen to, they got Al Jazeera, they have so many, they got African news, Canadian news, they have all kind of news. When we come on the way, we have a one-sided story. It don't make no sense. And my good brother, good afternoon, Brother Journey. I'm praying for all of you, you know. All of you. Pray for me too. A lot of what we're saying is so good. I was so glad to hear Andre Huey answering Kalanja yesterday. I did not call in because when I call in with the truth and reality, this Henry does come to disturb. But God was good. A lot of what we say is not economics. Don't make sense. It is delusional. This is a global economy, global. So when one got on, all of us going down, we better go repent. You like the word repent? Repent means to change your ways. Change your ways. That's all I have to say.
All right, caller. Thank you for your contribution to this program. You're listening to Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. The phone lines are open and we are taking your calls at 662-0989 or 466-0989. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Caller, you're on the air. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you again. This is Greg. Now, can I ask you a question? Have people lost, you ever heard of people losing all of their money and buying stocks?
I never heard of that.
Huh?
No.
No, well, people have lost all of their money and buying stocks, bonds, treasuries, etc. Stocks, especially when the companies also go broke or they go on bankrupt and those sort of stuff. In the Great Depression, people were killing themselves because they lost all the money in the stock market, that sort of stuff. I said that to say this. When you're buying stocks, treasuries, bonds, you are still wagering. You are still placing a bet. You're betting on the future or against the future, however you may put it. So it's still all a gamble. When you go into when businesses are having promotion and they're having raffles and you put your receipt in the raffle box, you're taking part in a gamble. So we need to be consistent. If he goes for one, he goes for all. And greed, like I said, the question is, what does the Bible refer to as greed? You see, we try our own words, but I would like Miss Henry to define biblically what is greed. Because I know when the Bible deals with greed, it deals with it with every area of life. For example, the Bible spoke about the man who crop increased, and instead he deal with his increase biblically. He said he gonna build bigger barns to store his crop increase. That ain't had nothing to do with gambling, but Jesus gave it as an account to show that was greed, but it ain't had nothing to do with gambling. And not only that, Devon, can I ask you a question? If you buy a lotto ticket, right, you're going to spend off all your money on lotto as a sensible person?
I'll try to invest.
Yeah?
I'll try to invest.
But as a not sensible person would spend off all the money on anything, be it stocks, bonds, treasuries, lottery ticket, sporting equipment, entertainment, recreation. No sensible person will spend off the money on all the money on those things, especially if you have children and that sort of stuff. So it ain't just go for one thing, it go for everything. And this is the illogic I have to deal with people to get them to be consistent. But not only that, Miss Henry ain't give a scripture to show where the Bible says gambling is wrong, you know? Yes, the Bible says greed is wrong, but that go for everything in life. Not just gambling, but everything in life. But let me ask you, Devon. Let me ask another question. If somebody buy a lottery ticket, right? Okay, you know when you play lottery, you know even though you ain't win the jackpot, you know you still could win money otherwise if you get certain matches. So you don't have to win the jackpot in order to win money. You could win money by getting certain matches. Whether be it 100, even up to 25,000. Even though you ain't win the lottery. Depends on the matches you get. But not only that, Devon, would you say this is greed? If you play the lottery, okay, and you spend what you could afford to lose, you just spend what you can afford to lose. But you buy the lottery with the mindset that, hey, if by God's will, if I so win it, I would use the money, yes, to help develop myself, but I would also use the money as well to help others. Is that greed?
I follow you. I see where you're coming from.
Exactly. So we must be logical, Miss Henry. You need to be logical. You need to be logical. Yes, like everything else. Greed is also involved in lottery. Because it all depends on what you're playing it for. That make it greed or not greed. You know, what I would also like to say this. What I would also like to say, I was never a Trump supporter. Because I'm not supporting somebody who is not a Christian. All I was saying is that the Democrats were telling a lot of lies on Trump, and I was dispelling the lies that the Democrats were telling on Trump. But I am never was a Trump supporter. I never ever tell people to support Trump. I never ever tell people to vote for Trump, because Trump was biblically unqualified to be in government because he was not a Christian. Just like all the politicians them that I know of today, whichever country they're in. So I was never a Trump supporter, but I dispelled the lies that the Democrats was telling on Trump, and I still do it today. Because lies is lies. No matter how bad a person is, even if it's Hitler, you're not supposed to be lying on the person for political points. And if I know better, I will dispel the lie. That ain't mean I'm supporting the person. Now, where the vaccines are concerned, I did not say the vaccine gives shingles. I'm saying, listen to me properly. I did not say the vaccine gives shingles and cancer and stuff. I said since people have been getting the vaccine, these things has been increasing. Why they have been increasing? Because the vaccine is breaking down the people's immune system. And as people's immune system get weaker, people get more susceptible to the different viruses and germs and that sort of stuff. And so that is why you see many sicknesses are on the increase since people has been getting the vaccine, not that the vaccine give them. So listen to me carefully, Miss Henry. And by the way, when Paul talk about fables and truth, he wasn't talking such things as vaccines. He wasn't talking such things. What he was talking about is that people rejecting the writings of Paul, as you does on your whims and fancy. You reject some of Paul's writing, and you believe others are Paul writing as you so chooses. And that is what Paul was rejecting when he talking about people going about with fables and that's because people was trying to discredit the apostleship of Paul, saying that what he writes and so wasn't scriptures. No, you do not say that in 100%, but you say some of what he writes is scripture and some of what he written is his opinions. They're not scripture. That is the kind of fables Paul was condemning, discrediting parts of the Bible instead of accepting all of the Bible. So we need to be very mindful of these things, Devon. And like I said, a person died without Christ, they will go to hell for all eternity. Only the blood of Christ can save sinners from their sins and from hell. Thank you.
All right, Carter, thank you for your contribution to this program. You're listening to Voices right here on WINFM 98.9. The phone lines are open, and we're taking your calls at 466-0989 or 662-0989. Sharing some news with you. Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew, who is responsible for national security, is attending the Regional Security System RSS Council of Ministers meeting, which is being held in Grenada. At the moment, he is there along with the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of National Security, Miss Cecile Hall. and, of course, other heads of government and ministers of national security. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take some more calls right here on 98.9. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon again, Devon. Good afternoon, Devon.
Yes, caller, good afternoon. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon again, yeah. Brother Greg, it seems to me like you're encouraging people to gamble. It ain't when Miss Henry speak about it, it ain't that Miss Henry mean. Miss Henry said that some people live in the gambling place. Instead of they should have money in a box. They go in a gambling place and gamble the money, and some people are addicted to it too. So, Brother Greg, you must listen carefully. Miss Henry, and you come like you gamble. You're a Christian, you come like you gamble. Again, Brother Devon, I want to talk about the Pan-African movement and all this system, right? Ross Colonji was on Win FM yesterday, right? But I was at Win FM on freedom. And I hear him talk about Pan-Africanism, African, we got to come together and whatever and that. But I want to ask him already. If he believes that the leaders in Africa plan to come together with us in the Western world to build up, to help build up our small nation down there and help to build Africa. He should come as one union. Because Africa got gold, Africa got this, and Africa got that. You understand? We as black people, whether we from in the world, Brother Devon, I believe that the whole world, I'm going to say again, with the whole world of black people to come together, white, Indian, Chinese, Caucasian, everybody, whatever aspect of how you be in your human race. We got to come together as one. Because if we come together as one, we'll never get nowhere. And I see black people coming together as one in my lifetime to come, Brother Devon. I don't see it. You understand? Because the Bible discriminates against no black. One time ago I had an engagement with a lady, right? And she told me that black people is the originate people. White people come from black people come from white people. They're the seed of us. And white people are the seed of Satan. White people are the seed of Satan. They originated from us. So if black people was the original people, and we, before white people, as she said, that white black people so backward, and the white people, got the white people that come in and fooling us and doing us all these things and brainwashing us. Why we taking all these brainwash? And we know these things ain't true. And we know we poor father and mother went through the struggle. You understand? I agree that they're speaking out against certain things, but we just banging up that. Because black people on our own wouldn't come together. Black leaders wouldn't come together. I should see in our politics, in our little small country down here. You see how politics be. Look at Jamaica. Look at Trinidad. Look at all them Caribbean countries. Haiti, all them got a problem. All the black country people them got a problem. Eh? When you come together with? When? I want no when, but Devon. Okay, Brother Devon, I'll continue to listen. God bless you again.
All right, Carter, thank you for your contribution to this program. We'll take a short break to acknowledge your responses, and when we come back, we'll continue Voices right here on Win FM 98.9. Let's take this break, and we will be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
King Ocean, king of the Caribbean seas, announces king-size savings on shipments from Miami to St. Kitts. We have the best service and competitive rates on LCL and FCL cargo, including D&E containers, cars, heavy equipment, buses, boats, and barrels from Miami to St. Kitts. LCL pickup service anywhere in the U.S. Call local agents SL Horseman and Company Limited at 869-465-4086 or 869-662-5008 for further details. King Ocean's king-size savings on shipments from Miami to St. Kitts Nevis. King Ocean, king of the Caribbean seas.
The Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis is now online, providing simple and convenient services to pay your loan anywhere at any time. It begins with you logging on to our website, www.skndb.com. Click the online payment option, select Request Access, input your personal information, and submit payment. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Yes, we've made it easier for you to pay your loan anytime, anywhere. The Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis, making a sustained positive difference in your life. Welcome back to Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. It is 1:21 here in the studios of 98.9. As I was mentioning earlier, Prime Minister Dr. Drew, who is also the Minister of National Security, is attending a Regional Security System RSS Council of Ministers meeting, and this is being held in Grenada. Prime Minister Drew is in attendance with the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of National Security, Miss Cecile Hall. I am also seeing here in attendance Prime Minister of Grenada, Dickon Mitchell, and other senior heads of government. I'm seeing U.S. Ambassador to Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, and the OECS, Her Excellency Linda Taligatelia. Also in attendance is the President of the Caribbean Development Bank, Dr. Jean Leon. The Council of Ministers meeting for the Regional Security System. You would know that a few days ago I was commenting on the security situation that is deteriorating in St. Lucia as it relates to crime and violence. And the Prime Minister there called on the Regional Security System RSS to come in and assist the local police force in bringing some sense of normalcy back to the streets and communities of St. Lucia. I will be following that closely to see how they have been able to deal with the crime situation there. Rather unfortunate situation in St. Lucia. Just a few minutes left before we wrap up the conversation for today. We want to hear from you, the listeners of 98.9. Call us at 466-0989 or 662-0989. For those of you who are just joining the conversation, earlier we opened with the news of the installation of a new
ombudsman here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and essentially his role is to prevent maladministration, to investigate investigations, or to investigate the administration doing an investigation, but prolonging the investigation and not ensuring that things are done within a reasonable time frame or in an efficient manner. So, in a nutshell, to prevent maladministration. Also, Agri Expo 2023 takes place on the island of Nevis on March 30th and 31st, 2023, at the El Quemido T. Willett Park. I am looking at my calendar, and that is next week, Thursday and Friday. Next week, Thursday and Friday, at the El Quemido T. Willett Park. Encouraging one and all to come on over. We are going to head back to the phone lines, and we're going to take some more calls at 466-0989 or 662-0989. We want to hear from you, your views and opinions on what's happening here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Let's head back to the phone lines, and we'll take this call.
Yes. Hello?
Yes, caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
I'm going to quickly say something. When I spoke about the COVID vaccine and the danger and stuff that it is doing, I'm quoting very reputable doctors, like, for example, Dr. Peter McCall, who is America's most decorated cardiologist and who instituted 3 medical journals that are still ongoing. He ain't no lightweight. He's a top rate, America's most decorated cardiologist. And we know that COVID is to do with your cardio system. So he's in that field. And then you have Dr. Robert Malone, who invented the mRNA technology that Pfizer and the other vaccine companies are using for the COVID vaccine and that sort of stuff. And he come out and he tell you of the dangers of the vaccine, even though he's the one who invented the mRNA technology that is used in the COVID vaccine. But he ain't for the vaccine. And he give you the stats and that sort of stuff. As a matter of fact, he wrote a book called, it's on Amazon, called Lies Your Government Told You, or something to that effect. You go on Amazon, you type in Robert Malone, and his book, Lies the Government Told You, or something like that, and you will see him. You could do further research on it. These are top quality men. At the time, but also Dr. Corey, Perry Corey, whose book is yet to come up, but you could go on Amazon, you could get it for pre-order. It's called The War on Ivermectin. These are top quality people that I'm quoting. I'm not quoting before the COVID, these people were held in the highest esteem. But because they go against what is officially said, because they go against the conspiracy theory of the official bodies, the people are trying to discredit them. Very hard. Also, yes, I do buy lottery ticket. I do buy a lottery ticket, and I do it as often as I can. And let me say this. I think Mr. Politics misunderstood. Miss Henry said, no matter what, once you're buying a lottery ticket, you're doing it out of greed, which is pure nonsense. And I have said, like every other aspect in life, there are also people expressing their greed in the lottery as well as in all other areas of life. And you can't determine just like that because somebody buy a lottery ticket means they're doing it out of greed, because you need to know the reason why they are doing it. Because greed is not what you do, but why you do it. Just like Jesus condemned the man for building bigger barns. Nothing wrong in building bigger barns. It's okay to build bigger barns if you get increased. But the reason why you're doing it, that determine whether you do it out of greed or not. So politics, you could take note of that as well as Miss Henry. Okay, thank you.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution to this program. This has been another edition of Voices right here on Win FM 98.9. Let me thank you for your contribution to this program. Until next time, you guys stay safe. Don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday and what is left of the rest of the week. Agri Expo 2023, March 30th and 31st on the island of Nevis. Encouraging one and all to attend. You can get grade A quality crops. Meat will be on sale as well. Great entertainment, a great atmosphere, great company, good people. March 30th and 31st under the theme Together for Food Sovereignty, Agri Expo 2023. Guys, take care. Bye-bye.
The sound